did things like he had a big block on a jump shot, on a shot from the corner with 2 minutes to go. He had 2 blocks, and they were down 16, Houston, and they came back to win 111-106. And Durant's hug of Shepherd, then smacks him on the head, was spectacular. I told this to my dear friend Dick Hoops Weiss last night. And Jimmy, eyes are going to get big. And I've paused about saying this. I believe Jeff Shepherd does one thing better than anybody in the entire NBA. Jimmy, you think I'm going to be nuts?
I'm intrigued.
Okay. No one in basketball in the NBA throws a better chest pass. This is my 4th year of doing the show. And Jimmy, it's the first time I said chest pass. Not only does he use it all the time, he throws it like a picture throwing 102 miles an hour. It is fast, unbelievably fast, and very accurate. He hits you in the chest. And so he's so accurate with that. If you are playing with him, you know where you're getting the ball. It's a huge thing. Players like to know where they're getting the ball, or you get the ball to the player where they want to have it. I haven't seen anybody better, literally, in the NBA this year. And I got to tell you, in many years. Now, he threw a nice chest pass here, but a couple things have happened. One, he's worked on it, obviously, and 2, he is so much stronger. Jimmy, he threw a chest pass the length of the court from underneath the basket, hit the guy in stride, and he laid it right in. I've never seen anybody do that. When I was a kid, the best outlet passer in the world, and everybody said it back then, was Louisville's Wes Unseld. And he literally could, over his head, and just flick his wrist. And he was the best I've ever seen, and the best many old-timers have ever seen. But Shep is the best at it. It was unbelievable watching him play. And, there's usually a point in the 4th quarter, I've watched enough of Houston's games, that they take him out and put the starters back in. They couldn't take him out last night. They couldn't. No. He was too good. By the way, Keldon Johnson is playing a little better this year. He had 12 and 6, and Fox had 14 and 6, and that's fine. But wow, with Shepherd. Here's the other thing, and I am really surprised that he's not a star now, but I thought he'd be in somebody's rotation a couple of years ago, and so far I've obviously been wrong. And I don't know if it's opportunity, which sometimes it is, or is he not good enough? So Ty Washington has spent most of his career since he's left Lexington in the G League. And he's had some years in the G League where he's put up some really big numbers. So he's now on the Clippers. He's been on a number of teams. So he got to play 12 minutes. It was a blowout. Okay, it's a blowout. So he played 12 minutes. He was 5 of 6. Plus he had 2 steals. Now I'm hoping for his sake, he gets a little more clock. I think he can play. I've always thought he can play. Again, I'm not putting him as an NBA All-Star or a starter, but I really thought by now he would be in somebody's rotation playing backup minutes. So I'm hoping perhaps last night in garbage time, it might amplify him just a little bit. I'm hoping for him. I'm absolutely hoping for him. By the way, Georgia's for real. They were at Missouri last night. They won 74-72, and the Missouri crowd was loud. It looked like a great crowd, and there was some little trash talking, and it looked like something could happen. And I think we're at the point where you're going to see a whole lot of pushing and shoving after games. I think that's where we're at. I think what happened between Carey and Owe and Kentucky and Tennessee, I don't think that's the last time it's going to happen. And by the way, here's what I don't know. And I'm not doing this to defend Owe. I'm really not. I would assume there was trash talking going on all the time. And Owe said something. The letter started with an F. They were probably talking about getting a facial together after the game. And Carey didn't like it. But I'm not blaming Owe. I'm just not. And I'm not saying it because I sit in Lexington, Kentucky. Because you really have no idea what precipitated this. So, okay. And do you think Tennessee was ticked off? Yeah. You think they were embarrassed? Yeah. Do you think that their tempers were shorter because of the way Kentucky came back and skunked them? Yeah. Yeah. Do I think that amplified it? Yeah. Now, can I see Pope saying don't use that word, that kind of thing? Sure. But guess what? He got away with it. And that's fine. I got no problem with that at all. None. Let me tell you, coming up at 12:30, Sean Woods will be joining us at 1 o'clock, talking baseball. I know Jimmy already has the theme ready. We always have it ready when Hal McCoy joins us. It's crazy. There's snow outside. I went to the Y this morning. There was no snow. I finished my workout. There was snow on the ground. So usually when the snow's on the ground, Hal becomes more of a consistent guest. I love Hal McCoy. And I actually like a lot of the moves that the Reds have made. I know they didn't get Schwarber. Not that anybody thought, really, anybody out there thought they had a shot at getting Schwarber. To me, it was just silly. I thought they would get a better bat. I actually like some of the young outfielders they picked up on cheap who look like they're ready for a next step. But what I really like are two little things. I'm going to talk to Hal about it. You can't win in baseball with 5 starters. I think everybody knows that. You better have 7 or 8. Now, your 8th and 7th guy, not going to be like you 1, 2, and 3. But this is the best on paper since that has happened in baseball because all the added injuries, which I still think has a lot to do with weightlifting, but neither here nor there. This is the deepest the Reds have been in, I don't know, forever. And I'm going to ask Cal McCoy about that. Here's the other thing. I kind of really like what they've done with their bullpen. Seriously, not huge names, and they don't specialize in huge names. And they've done a really nice job of picking some guys off the scrap heap. But like, Pierre, who they just picked up, who is very dear friends. We'll talk more about it later, but he's really good friends with the closer. And so they got Pierce Johnson. And he gets, it's $5.5 million, which for the Reds is a lot of money in the bullpen, although Pagan, the closer, is getting more. And he should get more. And that's fine. And there's a mutual option. But to me, that's not a $5.5 million deal. It's really 6.5 because if you don't pick up the option, which is $8 million next year, which means you'd have to really pitch well. So the odds are this is a contract for $6.5 million, and he's got some incentives. He can make about $1 million too. The point is, if you look at what they've done in the bullpen, I really like it. And I really like the dumping of Gavin Lux. They saved salary. More importantly, he was taking up space that bothered me because I want Sal Stewart to get 500 at-bats. And then in that trade, they picked up Burke, who's a really nice relief pitcher. He really did. He had a 3.36, and he's a lefty. So, Lux and Burke have something in common. They're going to be free agents after this year, and that's fine. But, oftentimes when you're within the last month of pitchers and catchers reporting and that kind of thing, there's some really good deals out there if you know what the heck you're doing. And then sometimes when some of these players are available and when they end up being really good, I've been baffled as to why some of these guys didn't get picked up before. It really is. So I actually like the Reds. I think they can catch the ball better. They're not going to score enough runs. There's no question about that. They're going to have to win a lot of games 4-3. If they win a lot of games 10-9, Jimmy, you and I should shave our head. You game?
How many games are we talking?
Oh, see, I don't know. That's a good question. Can you look up how many games they won by scoring 10 runs last year? Whatever that is, it'd be less. I really like how you're protecting your hair, Jimmy. That was very wise. Well, you have a wife and a young son, so you have more to protect than I do.
Looks like, according to Google's AI, the Reds scored 10 or more runs in 13 games last year.
Wow, that's not even 10%. That's doable, even with their lineup now. I don't want to make a bet. I don't want to make a bet. And by the way, they could score 10 runs more than 13 and still not be very good producing runs. So you call me a chicken, Jimmy, I'm good with that. I have zero problem with that. So I'm kind of excited for the Reds. And as you know, every game, every pitch is right here on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM during the regular season. So loving that Shep literally was the best player on the court. It meant a ton to me. It really did. Oh, okay. Let's go to a clip that Jimmy found with Tom Izzo. By the way, Tom Izzo is number one in basketball in active coaches with most NC2A wins. Got you with that one, Jimmy, huh? 59. Bill Self is next with 53. Calipari is at 50. Then it's Mark Few and Pitino. Now, let me get to Pitino. I watched him last night, and it's almost shocking, but in a way it's not shocking because it is Rick Pitino. If you watched him play Kentucky and you watched this team last night, and this has been happening for a few games now, they are close to a totally different team. And this gives hope for Pope. And I'm not saying there is nothing in my cranium to suggest that Pope is as good of a coach as Rick Pitino. And let's not get silly. But there's a caveat here for Kentucky. So they played Seton Hall last night. Nobody in their right mind thought that Seton Hall would have 14 wins at this point. They are a tough, physical team. Okay. St. John's is a really tough, physical team. They're down by like 15, and they came back to win 65-60. They ain't winning games by 95-90. They're just not. They don't have that kind of offense. Okay. And when I was talking to my buddy Dick Hoops Weiss, who hopefully will do the show next week, and after Kentucky did it to Pitino, my thought was, so is Hoops, that there's no way that this could be an upper echelon Big East team unless they change dramatically. They're 7-1 now in the Big East. That's really shocking. And they're tough. They're really physical, tough, defensive, big men. It's like literally almost looking at a different team. He's changed them that much, which is a credit to him. So tell me this is not the basketball gods going against Rick Pitino. Jimmy, it's 1,000 to 1. You're going to agree with me. Ready?
Yeah.
Pitino has 899 wins. So he goes for number 900 on Saturday. Just typical stuff. Guess who his opposing coach is?
Cal.
Richard.
Even better.
Cal would be number 2. But we're in conference play, so the odds of that, it could be an aberration game, but the odds. He's playing his son on Saturday to get number 900. Now, it's really a good thing for both of these guys that it's not the first time they've played each other, so they're sort of getting used to it, and they're dealing with it, I think, much better. They didn't deal with it poorly beginning, but it's got to be weird as blank going against your what? Your son. Willard's the coach of Villanova, and he's like a son to Rick. Because Rick's best friend forever was Ralph Willard, who I think the world of, who was an assistant here at Kentucky, and Kevin spent a ton of time with Rick, and he literally loves him like a son. And he treats Rick and thinks of Rick like a second father. That's weird as heck. It's just weird as heck. So here's the point. I'm not suggesting Pope is as good as Rick Pitino as a coach. I am suggesting that maybe, and I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I'd like to see a trend early. And after what happened the other day, I had this in my notes, and I'm going, maybe. I think this team has changed so much. Now we're talking about Kentucky, that it's possible that they could go on a run. I'm not talking Final Four. I'm not talking about national championship. I'm not even saying they're going to win the what? Southeastern Conference. I am suggesting it's possible that there's been enough of a metamorphosis. There's been enough of a change. There's been enough of Pope understanding his players. There's been enough of some of his players understanding what Pope wants. Sean Miller said it the other day. Kentucky's playing Texas tonight. Sean Miller is a hell of a coach. I mean, really, he's a hell of a coach. He's been one of the best coaches in the country for quite some time. And I'm, like I said, I'm biased towards Sean just because I covered him at Pitt, did a high school story with him. I know who his father is, one of the legendary high school coaches in Pennsylvania. I know my buddy Dick Hoops Weiss knows him much better than me, even though I covered Sean, and thinks the world of him. He's won 71% of his games. And he said about a week ago, I was looking at some tape where he's still figuring these guys out. He still is. And so when Cal used to say, how many times do we hear like almost yearly, I'm still figuring these guys out. There's perhaps something to it. I don't know why coaches can't figure out some of these guys quicker. I think part of the problem is young guys will grow and improve. And if you're open-minded, it kind of changes your mind. It does. It kind of changes your mind. So I am suggesting that it's possible, and I'm open-minded to this fact that this Kentucky team is going to change drastically, and we're seeing it. Here's one little issue, and it really baffles me. It really does. How these kids can't get into account that a basketball game is 40 minutes. Now, that's a harsh comment, and I get it, but I mean it. Look, they know it. They've been told. They've talked among themselves about it, that how do you come out? Although I really thought they played better in the first half against Tennessee than the score showed based upon previous performances when they really were worse. But when you're down 12, down 18, down 17 in the last 3 games and you win, and I'm going to agree with Pope on something. He is saying that we're not recognizing the toughness of this team. And you want to know something? He's right. He's absolutely right. To have the fortitude mentally and physically to come back down 12, down 18, down 17, you got to be tougher than you know what. You really do. You really do. And by the way, I'm not suggesting against Texas tonight that they need to be up 22 points at the half. I'm not saying that. You know, let's say it's a 5-point game either way, but Kentucky plays better, and you know they play better because you know basketball. Okay? That to me would be a change. It would be a change. And it needs to happen. And my whole potential theory about this team really changing will go down the drain if they continue to play the first 20 minutes the way they have been, because you can't keep on doing it. Everybody knows it. The players know it. Pope knows it. You know it. You just can't. But I'm suggesting there's a possibility. And I got to tell you, the number one person in that is Aberdeen. It's Aberdeen. I think he's averaged like 18 points in the last 3 games, and that's nice. And I was kind of careful how I said it the other day, but I really mean it exactly like that. I hope Lowe gets 100% healthy. I hope he comes back stronger in his entire body. He's not a very good defensive player, and I really think that he needs to work on being more of a point guard first, shooter second. He's not Trae Young. He's not Trae Young. And by the way, when you look at his numbers shooting-wise, they're not very good. They aren't. It's kind of crazy how bad he is from downtown. He's even worse than I thought he'd be. And his shot is not consistent. He would change where he shoots very often. His release point, which I'm very big on, would change. And you can't do that. And I'm a little surprised that somebody like that, who was basically born with a basketball in his hand, either he hasn't got it fixed. It's certainly not because he hasn't practiced enough. But when you look at it, it's really shocking that he's not a better outside shooter. And I've waited for 3 games. And Aberdeen, I had ripped about a month ago. I did. I said he was terrible because he was terrible. And then after the first good game he has as the point, I said, hey, wait a second. Maybe he's changing. Maybe he's changing. And then he had another good game, and I said, it looks like he might have changed. He's changed. He's absolutely changed. And I think there's something to the fact that he knows he is the man. He knows he's playing. I think there's something to that. I think that has amplified him as a basketball player. I really like how he's not throwing it away. I do like that he scores. I don't think he's a shoot first point guard as strongly as Lowe. Aberdeen is really good at getting and creating space for himself. He's very good at it. It's a wonderful trait. And I just think he might be taking this team to yet another level. I really do. I don't think we've seen the best of him. I mean, in the last 3 games, this is crazy. Not in my wildest dreams that I think he would say that I would say this. in the last 3 games, he's been one of the better point guards in America. He really has. So let's see. I think he's calmed things down. Plus, I like the fact he shoots 82% from the free throw line. His threes are 38%. Okay. But I'm excited to see where he's going. Second on team in scoring at 12 a game. And let me throw something about Diabate that might surprise you. Just take a wild guess, Jimmy. Wild guess, not fair throwing it at you, at what he's shooting from downtown. Everybody knows he can't shoot. So I know you're going to.
You said Mo?
Yeah. I know you're going to guess low. And let me give you a hint. Whatever you're thinking, think lower. Whatever you're thinking, think lower again.
17%.
In most cases, that would be an obnoxious guess and would be really, you'd say the kid really is bad. What would you guess if I didn't say to go low?
I was going to say 22%, 23%.
Okay. I'm going to give you the exact number, 11.8.
Yee.
Okay, he's 2 for 17. Unless there's 1 second on the shot clock, I feel like taking a custard pie and throwing it in his face if he takes a shot. And let me tell you something. Sean Miller's a really good defensive coach. I guarantee you they're going to leave him open. I guarantee you. I would bet my paycheck and your paycheck, Jimmy, on that, okay? And usually I bet your paycheck, right? Does this show you the veracity of how strong I feel about this?
Yeah, I would double down. I'd put 2 of my paychecks on there with you.
And here's what I don't know. I know Pope is the positive and all that kind of stuff. Does he ever tell a player not to shoot? The players in the team say no. And by the way, if you're shooting 11 freaking percent, excuse me, let me be fair. Let me round it up to 12%, okay? If you're shooting 12% per downtown, duh. And I actually think one of Diabate's problem has been he's trying to show his worth for the NBA. And if he could show he could shoot 40, 42%, because he's kind of a tweener in size, that helps him tremendously. Now, let me tell you the positive thing about it. If you take out his 2 for 17, and I know a lot of people say you can't do that. Well, I'm doing it. Jimmy, he's shooting over 60%. Your eyebrows raised. You're surprised and you're impressed, aren't you?
Yeah.
So one of the keys to making it in the NBA, one of the keys to be really good at Kentucky, one of the keys in life as an athlete is know who the hell you are. And I still question if he knows who he is. Stop trying to show off for the NBA because they know you can't shoot. Yet you might be determined, okay, maybe I'll hit a couple today and I'll get a little hotter and I'll start going from there. And Stop. I would be happy if he shot as many threes for the rest of the year as Malachi has for the whole season. You know how many threes Malachi has thrown up this year, Jimmy? 1. I'm actually convinced, and I said it before the season started, I could see him becoming a really good three-point shooter because I like his hands. And think about when he made that shot to win the game, the turnaround kept his cool, and Pope told him he had enough time to shoot, which is really smart by Pope. He calmed him down. If you get the ball, you have time. It was brilliant coaching by Pope, by the way. And I mean brilliant coaching because what's in your head? Oh, I better rush. And he didn't rush. And if you rush, guess what? The odds of you making the shot, unless you bank it in and do something goofy, it's not happening. Give Pope some credit there. Give him some credit. With Malachi, I still don't like his free throw shooting. It's at 66%. I've complained about it before, but he's at 63% from the field. Okay, you're saying he's doing a lot of dunks. Okay, what the hell's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So take a look at some of the numbers. And by the way, I agree with Pope. Jasper had a dozen in the first half against Tennessee. They might have been so far out of the game at the half they couldn't have come back. And there's a yes and no with this, and I'm a little baffled by this. And I get that Jasper is backing up Denzel. You know that. I know that. We all know that. But I don't know why you can't play the both of them together a little bit more. I'm baffled by it. Now, I know you have to have somebody fresh to take over when Aberdeen comes out, but he's playing a lot of minutes. And by the way, he's in shape to play a lot of minutes, and that's okay. It really is. And we'll see if with time Jasper's averaging 15 minutes a game. If Jasper for the rest of the season doesn't end up averaging for the whole season 20, 22 minutes a game, but I would like to see if it's possible that Jasper, because he's growing right in front of your eyes. By the way, he's shooting 89% plus from the free throw line, okay? He's shooting, rounded up slightly, 39% from downtown. I mean, think about it. He and Aberdeen are at 38.8%. It's pretty damn good. Kid's a scorer. There's no question about it. And I think he needs to play a little bit more. I do. I absolutely do. And so I know Mark Pope listens to this show and he takes all my suggestions so seriously, Jimmy, doesn't he?
He may. There's a chance.
He didn't even try reeking of sarcasm. Hey, there's no sarcasm here because they're wonderful. Quantrell. Cadillacs, Volvo, Subarus, but the Quantrell Subaru, what a deal. From the depths of Monmouth Cave to the rugged cliffs of Red River Gorge to the muddy boots and long days in the Daniel Boone National Forest and every back road that gets you there. Your adventures are built for Subaru with legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive, proven safety, and the durability Quantrell Subaru is known for. You can push farther, stay longer, and explore without hesitation. Right now, get 0% APR financing on new 2025 Subaru Outback models through February 2nd. Built for Kentucky, ready for anywhere. Quantrell Subaru. Visit QuantrellSubaru.com. See dealer for details. Hey, and don't forget about the Volvo, the XC60. Wow, the hybrid. You get 41 miles with the electricity, right? Plug it in at night. Most days, my wife doesn't use gas. And it's saving us a bunch of money. Plus, it is smooth. We have 3 cars now from Volvo. We've had a Cadillac. We now have the Volvo. And look, this has been going on for a dozen years. So I trust them. I trust them way before I started doing a radio show. They've been really good to me, and they are a people organization. Check it out. QuantrellSubaru.com. Sean Woods coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter.
At 859-263-2771 to see if auto owners insurance makes sense for you.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler from the depths of Mammoth Cave to the rugged cliffs of Red River Gorge to the muddy boots and long days in Daniel Boone National Forest and every back road that gets you there. Your adventures are built for Subaru with legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive, proven safety, and the durability Quantrell Subaru is known for. You can push farther, stay longer, and explore without hesitation. Right now, 0% APR financing on new 2025 Subaru Outback models through February 2nd, 2026. Built for Kentucky, ready for anywhere. Quantrell Subaru. Visit QuantrellSubaru.com. See dealer for details.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Uncle Rick, warm yourself up with a hot coffee or cappuccino at Clark's Stop and Shop.
Kappa what?
Cappuccino. And while you're there, be sure to pick up some of our in-store specials. We have 5-hour energy shots, Bloom energy drinks, and Blue Diamond almonds. Each buy 2, get 1 free.
I feel warmer already. Clark's Puppet Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Just got a text from Dennis Johnson who says he's listening. What a great family. What a great family. What he said in the text, that's between us. It's all good. I can see him bristle. Cutler, by the way, it was nothing bad. I'm just teasing. I think the world of the entire family, as I've said many, many times, and I think Jasper is about to blossom like a flower in springtime. Speaking of flower in springtime, that was true about 40 years ago. Sean Woods, former Studley guard for Kentucky in the rafters of rough. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Having his number jersey retired. Sean, how are you?
I'm good, Bubs, and I blossomed already. So you know what I'm saying. I'm heading on the other side with you. You know what I mean. It's just a plant now, but the bloom is kind of going away. That is for Jasper Johnson now.
Yeah. By the way, I did say your bloom was 40 years ago. By the way, I look at and look, the kid is tied for the lead in 3-point shooting at 38.8%. He's shooting 89.5 from the free throw line. I know you have said point guards are born. I know that. I'm not suggesting he's going to be an NBA all-star point guard. I am suggesting I think he can become a really good backup point guard with a little more time. Do you think I'm nuts?
Can I give you of what I think he is? I mean, type of player I think he is. Who he reminds me of?
Please.
He reminds me of what's the kid that played for Herb Sendek at Arizona State and was at Oklahoma City with Durant and what's the name, and then he went to Houston, left-handed.
Oh,
gosh, dog.
Go ahead, but anyway, let's continue going on. Left-handed.
Here's the deal.
Whoa.
Jasper.
Whoa. You're talking about Harden?
James, he's a poor man's James Harden. What I mean by that is he has that type of ability because Jasper Johnson is much better with the ball in his hands than the ball out of his hands. But he's more of a scorer with the ball in his hands. He's a scorer first and pass second. And in college, that's not as good, especially what Kentucky needs, but that's who he is. And if that's who he is and you have to play him, then you have to do things to make him to make him successful. And you got to put him in pick and rolls. You got to sit there and watch him dance a little bit. And you know what I'm saying? Go do it. He is, and then live with the other things of growth as a freshman from a defensive standpoint. But that's who he is, and that's the type of player he is. And just because he's not a true point guard doesn't mean he's not a good player. But what I'm saying is, and always said is, it's hard for a Division I high major team to have high success if you don't have a dominating point guard, playmaker plus scorer. He is a really good player, and I think he's going to be a better pro than he ever would be in high school. In college, because his game is suited for the pros more so than it is college.
Well, I have said he'd be a better pro, and here's the other thing too. He's already gotten a lot stronger, but he's not strong enough. And the way he is paying attention to all little things, like a lot of kids, but he's voracious and eating right and lifting weights. You know, if you saw him when he was like the first time they went to the Sweet 16, was it 3 years ago? I think it was 3. If not 3, it was 4. Pretty sure it's 3. He was gangly looking, and I remember coming on. Yeah, I just started the show. I think it was the first year I did the show. That wait till he fills out. And he's starting to fill out. He's much thicker than he was then, but he's not as thick as he will be. He's also a really smart basketball player, and I think his pace is getting better. It's just interesting. A poor man's James Harden. And I got to be honest, I blanked. And my thought is, you've lost your mind, because I did think of Harden pretty quickly. I'm going, he can't be saying Harden. And I know you said poor man's James Harden. It's an interesting comparison. You know what's also fascinating? Harden is still playing really, really, really good basketball. With all the crap that he's been through, his love of the game is amazing, and he's actually
a baller. He's like a Kevin Durant. All those guys that could be ancient and dinosaurs, but they love playing and they love working out. So that's why they're always going to be relevant, because their work ethic still.
Agree 1,000%. And now I'm in pain if I have to agree with you another time. We have. Did I tell you about the Sean Woods rule for my show?
No.
I've never told you this, but I'm not allowed in my mind to agree with you 3 times in one appearance. Otherwise, I have to hang up on you.
So we're at 2 already?
Yeah. And so, I might have to go to a commercial break really quick, Sean. I'm just not sure about that yet.
I just think, you know what I'm saying? Here, every coach has a way they play. Every coach has their own deal, how they want to do things. And sometimes players don't fit. Doesn't mean that they're not good players. They just don't fit what you do. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you may have a coach that likes to have one guy who likes to dominate the ball and makes plays for others. You may have a guy who likes running things to get threes. You might have another guy who runs Pearson offense. You might have another guy that, whatever, likes going, post to post, have 2 posts, and that's where he's going to get most of his scoring. Everybody's different. Sometimes it's just not a fit. But now, because you know that you're not going to have low, okay, now Mark Pope can breathe and say, hey, this is what I got. These are the adjustments we have to make these guys successful in what we do. I got to change the way I'm doing things so that we can have some success with the personnel that we have. And I think he's starting to do that. And it's still early, but, man, I got to give Mark some kudos, too, because he's making adjustments during games on the fly. You can't play no worse. You can't put two worse a half together than he's had these last couple games. But then again, you got to give him kudos, too, for making the adjustments and finding a way to win. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yep. All right. I'm going to throw a number at you. I don't know if you listened during the monologue, but Mo Diabate does not understand, and I'm not berating the kid, I promise you. This is a normal thing for basketball players and Eagles and stuff like that. And I don't care what the kid says. There's no question in my mind. He's like so many kids at this point in his career. He wants to show the NBA he can do everything and that kind of stuff. That's a common thing that goes around. There's not a negative word for where I'm coming from. Pope apparently doesn't tell kids not to shoot. You can't have a hard-pressed rule. Do you know what Diabate is shooting from downtown?
Horrendous, maybe 20-some%, 19, 20%.
Oh, no, you're way too high.
14%, 12%. Has he hit a 3 yet? Maybe 1 or 2, right?
He's, I'm going to round it up to 12%. He is 2 for 17. Now, here's the good news. If he doesn't shoot a 3 this year in his 2s, he's over 60%, Sean. And Malachi's
Coach Pitino would nip that in the bud real quick. Like he used to tell me, 3s is not who you are, Sean. You are getting to the rim at will. Stop, emphasizing on your weaknesses and just concentrate on your strengths. And that's what Mo Diabate needs to be doing.
If Mark Pope isn't telling Diabate not to shoot, that's the next step in his growth as a coach. Unless he's so positive. I mean, I just don't get it. Look, if there's 1 second left on the shot clock, take the 3. If there's 2 second shots, take a 3. If there's 5 seconds, try to pass the ball. I mean, he's 2 for 17. And not only that, but when he releases, you're going, oh, no, I can't look. Yet,
I'm going to talk to you from a coach's perspective, okay? In defense of Mark a little bit. When you got guys in the gym shooting 400 to 800 shots a day, okay, it's hard to tell them when they get in the game you can't shoot. It is.
Let me tell you.
Because if you tell them don't shoot, then guess what? They ain't coming to the gym. Why am I coming to the gym? I can make layups. I don't need to come to the gym to get reps on layups.
Actually, he could work.
So it's hard to tell a kid who's coming in the gym with everybody else, and I guarantee you, sometimes doing practice and getting the shots up, that he's shooting it pretty good. It's just in the games. It's just not him. That happens. But it's hard to tell a kid that's in that gym every day working on his craft, you can't do this what you're working on every day. It's hard.
I have no problem with him working on in the gym. I really don't. But 2 for 17 is 2 for 17, period.
But here's the deal too, Al. It's not like he's shooting 7, 8 threes a game. He's just shooting 1 or 2 when he's wide open. So from that standpoint, you have to shoot it because you may not get another look like that, whether you're shooting 12% or not. In that possession, that might be the best shot that you can get, even though it's just a guy that shoots 12% who got that shot. And there's a reason why he's getting that shot because he can't shoot it. They're giving it to him. But in a 30-second shot clock, that might be the best situation that you got, and then hopefully you can go get the rebound or whatever. But he's sitting wide open, and as much as he works on his game, man, he's got to hit at least 1 or 2 of one of them. That's just the thinking.
If you were a coach going against Kentucky in your scouting report, it's 1,000 to 1. You would say, hey, if that Mo Diabate's at the 3-point line, please let him shoot, right? When you say that?
I'm saying that.
So guess what? Sean Miller is really smart. He's saying it too. I know he is, and he ain't the only one. And so shouldn't the kid say to himself, look, I'm not shooting threes. If it's the end of the shot clock, that's one thing. Let me go in and get some rebounds. Look, the rebound he got at the end of the Tennessee game was huge. It was really huge. And he does certain things really well. I'm not knocking him as a player. I am saying know who you are.
You got to know who you are, right? But come on, man. As a coach, you got to let a kid throw him a bone. You know what I'm saying? He's working his ass off for you. Excuse me, they worked his butt off for you. And he's sitting there wide open. Come on, man. As many times he's in the gym trying to work on it. You know what I mean? Unless it's in a crucial situation. Well, if it's in the course, thick of the game, of course of the game, he missed that shot. But your best shooters aren't making that shot either. So it may be the same possession. Your best shooter might have got that shot and don't make it. So, that's his one shot of the game, maybe 2. But, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he's chasing threes and he's shooting, 6 or 7 threes a game. I don't think he's doing that. So I don't think it's that much of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of guys that's taking threes and they shoot, that ain't making every last one of them. I mean, I played on a team to where, if I wasn't getting to the rim, they were getting threes. I had a 36. I don't know what we were shooting from the 3, but I had that much of a percentage of a chance to get an assist. So I get it, but as a coach, if he's shooting 1 or 2 times a game, he's sitting wide open. Hey, you know what I mean? It's not going to kill that game because you're not getting beat because he's taking a 3 or 2 a game. You're not getting beat because of that.
Now, you know what's going to happen tonight? He's going to go 3 for 5 from downtown.
Hey, he's earned it because I know he's in the gym shooting it. So, sooner or later, he's got to have some type of success in a game. Not every game, but come on.
I'm not questioning his work ethic. No, I think he's a kid from New York. I like him. I like his toughness. There's a lot about his game I really like. He kind of reminds me of an old school player. He's got kind of an old school kind of game that I actually like. I do. So he's averaging 9.7. If he goes 3 for 5, I could just feel I'm getting a nasty text from you.
I'll tell you what, if he goes 3 for 5, Kentucky's winning by double digits.
Oh, I'll go one more on your side, okay? Suppose Kentucky's up by 22 points and he's still in the game and he wants to shoot a 3. Ask me if I care. No.
I know you wouldn't.
No.
But if it's a 5-point game, it's 8 minutes to go in the first half or whatever, and the ball swung and somebody penetrating kick and he's the guy that's left open and it's a wide open J, he's got to take it.
There's a good argument to be on your side where Cal wouldn't let Towns shoot threes, and he turned out to be one of the great 3-point shooters in the history of the NBA as a big man. So guys improve.
And then I'm going to go a step further. What you said. Karl Anthony Towns was never catching the ball on a penetrating kick at the 3. So he never was put in that position to even shoot it.
He's got sometimes a really fast release point. I mean, really fast release.
Yeah, he did Cousins like that too, and Cousins ended up being a pretty good shooter in the NBA.
Yep.
So what I'm saying, but Cal never had them outside the 3 to even have a catch. So they never even got teased about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they never like, ooh, I'm wide open. Shoot, this is in in rhythm. I gotta let it go. They were never in that situation. So Cal made sure that they didn't step, 12 feet from the goal. But Diabate is out there because Pope's playing 4 round 1. Sometimes 5 out. So you're gonna have 4, 1 through 4 outside the 3-point line.
I would still say, know your time and place. There's a place for him to shoot a 3. That's just me.
Right. Has he ever shot a 3 when they needed a 3? Has he ever shot a 3 that cost them a game?
I can't answer.
Has he ever shot a 3?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to guess. Wait a second. Do I think he's cost him a game by shooting a 3? No, I do not. I do not, by the way. I just don't. Got to be honest. But,
but if you're a coach, man, it's hard to tell a dude, man, that you don't shoot. You know what I'm saying? But you got to look at him and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? You done missed one. You know this ain't it. So, you done got your fix. Let's do something else. And that's a conversation that you have with your players, and sometimes an understanding. It ain't like he's shooting a lot of them. If he gets one, he's going to test the waters and see if I can make one. If I make one, then I can take 2. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't make that one, then, I'm feeling, and the coach going to be like, yo, this ain't what you do. So do what you do. So I think that's what it is.
Well, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but the way the players have spoken, the way Pope has spoken, I would do not know that Pope has ever told him, do not shoot, and under any circumstances.
And I wouldn't be surprised with that. I wouldn't be surprised with that at all.
Okay, look at them now. And so I said this earlier. I watched Patino last night, and they're a totally different team. They have changed so much. They're so much tougher. He messed with the lineup a little bit. They're down like 16 last night. And Seton Hall, nobody thought would have 14 wins at this point. Not that anybody within the sound of my voice follows Seton Hall, but I do. Not tons, but enough. They have no money for it.
They got one of ours. They got Coach Willerson coaching them. So, yeah, we all pay attention to Seton Hall.
Okay, well, that's a stretch to some people, but you're right. Gosh, I agree with you twice, and I said you're right.
No, that's 3 times, Alan. You shortchanging me.
No.
You agree with me? Maybe I think it's 4.
Oh, a little deal about you saying something about a coach and a concept. We're talking concepts. Agree with you 3 times.
Jimmy, he's cheating me, Jimmy.
Jimmy, am I cheating him?
I'm
How many times
neutral in
have
this
you said
situation.
you agree with me, Jimmy?
I'm gonna stay Switzerland here.
Wow.
All right.
No. You know what that means? That means I'm right. Jimmy has never. No.
Well, I didn't say that.
Wait, no. Jimmy. No. Here's the truth. I'm with Jimmy every day. Jimmy has never pulled Switzerland once. Now we're in our 4th year. 1, 2. I'm not going to say he lives to disagree with me. That's pretty silly. He's got a lovely family. He deals with me a couple hours a day. So let's not get silly here. He enjoys like heck disagreeing with me, which he's admitted. And I understand, by the way. So for him to claim Switzerland, you see, I'm getting the Jimmy smirk. For him claiming Switzerland, that means he actually agrees with me. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate the victory.
To be 100% fair, some of the interns in the office came in and I was talking to them. So I didn't hear the beginning part of that. So I don't want to be unfair.
Jimmy, he said that you can agree with him 100% that he hasn't agreed with me more than twice today.
I was talking about concepts. If I didn't explain that properly, that is my fault. Okay, let's move on, Mr. Woods. What else is the next thing this team has to do to become special on top of understanding? And what would you do? Look, the players know it. Pope knows it. They talk about it ad nauseam. What do you do to convince these kids that a basketball game is actually 40 minutes, not 20 minutes?
Well, I tell you this, they're doing it. They're completing a 40-minute game by getting a W. It's just like golf. It ain't how you drive, it's how you arrive. And, their start, maybe not, because he's still figuring it out. He's got lineup changes, but by the time they get a groove, I think that's when they get it. Sometimes it takes them longer to get a groove with the right personnel in there. Sometimes you look at it, he's an analytical guy. Say, hey, when are we getting our best runs? Okay, let's start that team. Instead of starting these guys and then wait until I get this combination in. to actually get us going. So whatever gets us going, maybe I look at that, just so we can have a better start. Something to think about. Those are the type of things that coaches got to think about. So, they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from one half to the other. I mean, you got people talking about not even quit watching the game and then they wake up. Oh man, Kentucky won. I've had that in the last couple of games. So, hey, he's doing something right. What I'm saying is he's working. He's pulling out everything, and I give him credit. You know what I'm saying? He's throwing everything off the wall because he doesn't know this team. This team is odd. And, I've been in those shoes where you just can't you can't grasp them. You can't figure them out from a mental standpoint. You can't bring them together for some odd reason. And it ain't because of lack of trying. It's just sometimes your personnel just don't mesh. And that has been a problem. But now that they know who's going to be in the trenches and who's going to be suited up, now you can, because, can you imagine knowing if you're going to have low, knowing if you're not, knowing if you can play in 5 minutes, knowing if you can play in 15 minutes or not? That's tough. No, you can't get a rhythm like that. So, now he can go for what he knows and figure it out from there.
Yeah, I agree with that part. The indecisiveness would drive any coach and the players also nuts. But, Sean, you have to agree with me. You can't consistently be down at the half 12, 18, and 17 and have a successful season. You just can't. You can't over the next.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that sooner or later he's going to get it and put the right mix in to start the game so they don't have these low losses, these slow starts. Sometimes it could be the personnel. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it'll be the guys you're starting. Because a lot of times, let me tell you this, the people ain't been talking about this. I've seen a lot of times when Kentucky made major runs and Owe ain't in the game.
Are you suggesting something?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying nobody is consistent on this team, and that is what he's dealing with. His main guy, preseason SEC player, has not been consistent.
He's been a lot more consistent over the last 6 games, but I see
lately. But when they were going through what they were going through, come on, man, you saw it. Everybody was seeing it.
Oh, I said the last 6 games, he's gotten better. Before that, excuse me, you're absolutely right. Before that,
that's 3, Jimmy. It's 3.
Yeah, that is a confirmed 3.
Yeah, but Jimmy with a big
confirm it, Bubs. Confirm it, Bubs.
That's why
the masses just heard you. You can't call. It's just like film don't lie, audio don't lie. So come on, Bubs.
It's 12:56 and we got to go anyway.
Run, baby, run.
Hey, anything else about Kentucky that's in your cranium?
I tell you this, Bubs. There's hope. I don't know what the ceiling is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is they're squeezing juice out of a tournament, and it seems like there could be a little more juice in that tournament.
So you're agreeing with me. That's what I've been saying for a couple of days. There's hope for Pope. See, you agree with me.
There is hope.
There is hope. Absolutely. And by the way, who knows what the ceiling is? But I think there's
I tell you this, another thing too, Bubs. Malachi Marino is getting ready to be a stud, and Pope better use him as a stud because that's the only consistent situation he has. Everything's going through Malachi first, in the low post, not the high post, the low post. Give this kid a chance to be successful. Then if he's successful, that enhances your team to be successful.
I am surprised by now they're not throwing it inside to him more. We are a little bit about out of time. I did want to ask you one thing. I love the way he's been playing. Love the way he's been playing. Do you agree with me or no?
Who?
Aberdeen, point guard.
Yeah, he's coming. He's playing like a man possessed.
Yep.
Yes, he's playing. He's. It ain't his team, but man, it's been his team. I mean, he's been coming. He's become like that dominant guard to go get you a bucket when you need one.
Oh, it is his team now. Now, look, Lowe needs to get healthy. He needs to get stronger. he needs to, see if you agree with this, learn how to be more of a pass first than shoot first point guard, in my humble opinion.
You're right. You are right.
Oh, hold it. What did you say?
You are right, Alan Cutler, a.k.a. Bubs.
Why does my blood pressure go up every time you're on my show? Why?
It dropped where I disagree with you.
Yeah, but it took a long time to get there. Hey, man, how's your Scott County team doing?
Hey, Scott County team's doing all right. We just beat Sarah last night. We're 10-6, I think. We're tied for first in the district, and got Brown Station Friday night in Memorial Coliseum at 8:30.
8:30 Memorial Coliseum. Let me see what I'm doing. Okay. I just wrote that down. Hey, bless you, brother. Good luck with Scott County. I appreciate your time, and I also appreciate you agreeing with me so much.
Hey, I appreciate you agreeing with me too, Bubs.
You're the best, Sean. Get off my phone. Hey, before you hang up, say you love me. Say you love me. Come on.
Hey, you got said first. I said it first the other day.
No, that's why I'm asking you. Yeah, come on, say you love me.
I love you, Bubs. Tell me you love me, Woody. Say I love you, Woody.
I love you, Woody. Hang up now.
My man.
He heard it. Gosh darn it. Jimmy, you're fired for not hanging up on Sean because I didn't want him to hear it.
The buttons keep getting every time Sean's on. I don't know what it is.
Thanks, Sean. Have a great day. Yeah, Jimmy.
All right, see y'all later, man.
See ya. Jimmy, you got to get those buttons fixed, right?
I try. I have a can of WD-40 in here to oil them up. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to talk to Sean about that. I can tell you, I promise you, and I've been saying this now for a couple weeks. I don't know why she ever has an appointment. She is just that good. Not just to me, but she's a healer. And she tells me she loses a lot of clients because when they're healed, they don't come back. Some come back for like a maintenance occasionally, and I get that. But I wish many of you, for your sake, would go see Terry Page, a great licensed massage therapist. 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578. Monday and Tuesday in Butler. Thursday and Friday on Regency Road here in Lexington. Check her out. Please use my name. Consider using her. She can help you. Coming up, talking baseball. Hal McCoy, Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no
On yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC. Data rates may apply.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler for the Quantrell Auto Group, a people organization who have Cadillacs, Volvos, Subarus. Experience the all-electric and plug-in hybrid power vehicles. We have the VC60, the Volvo. We love it. Best car we've ever had. Dedicated customer service. Helped us big time with financing. A wonderful dealership, the Quantrell Auto Group. They've been terrific for us for well over a decade. I trust the Quantrell Auto Group.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5. WLXG Lexington and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
I won't hang up until you tell me you love me.
All right, I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Alan Cutler. He said he loves Sean Woods. I feel the same. I've always thought you're absolutely the best and always enjoyed being around you. And
listen to Alan Cutler, folks. It's a pleasure for me and honor to be on here with such a legend.
Everything you said was absolutely 100% correct.
Man, is this the great Alan Cutler? Is this the infamous Alan Cutler?
Of all the broadcast television people that I've encountered, you are among the absolute elite.
Cut to the chase has a 5-length lead past the 16th pole. Cut to the chase. Victor Espinoza to win it.
Continue doing what you're doing. You're really good at it.
Be nice, America. Let's have a great day.
hello, Mark. Mr. Pope, 1996.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Hey, let's give it up right here. This is my guy. Yes. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, gratitude is a skill, guys. But if you practice, it will give you a joyful life regardless of your circumstances.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke.
I know Hal McCoy loves that song. In the Hall of Fame, I guess we have to use our imagination, Hal, because we don't have a lot of snow on the ground. We got a little bit, it's a little sprinkle, but looks like we might be getting a whole bunch this weekend. So I'm visualizing in my imagination Florida spring training, and it's not working. Hello, Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, man, and that's quite an intro you have there, and I concur with everything those guys said. You're the best, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Very, very, very kind. And I didn't pay anybody to say it. All clips that came when we were having conversations. Somebody sent me the other day, did you pay those guys for that? No. Am I humble that said that over the course of time? Yes. Yes. Honestly, very humble. So I'm going to take an interesting take. You're going to think I'm nuts. You ready?
No, I'm ready. Always ready.
Okay. So, they didn't spend any money, and they're doing certain things that you and I would both want them to do, the Reds wise. Okay. And they're cheap. And I still think they have more money. We don't know the books. That would be my thing. But within their budget, I'm not saying they're going to the World Series. I'm not saying to win their division. I really think they've improved the team a lot in the last 5-6 weeks. Tell me I'm nuts.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I would say they have improved. What perplexes me is they keep picking up relief pitchers. They've got enough relief pitchers now to stock the Reds, Louisville, Chattanooga. I mean, just endless if they keep signing these relief pitchers, and they can't keep them all. But I think getting rid of Gavin Lux was probably a good thing. It added an outfielder that might be able to produce. But, I would say they improved a little bit.
Okay. Here's my argument to where it's a little better than a little bit. They are much deeper in starting rotation, including guys that will not make the team because they will have injuries. And when they go down to the minor leagues, there have been some times that some of the guys that brought up, we both went, oh, man, that guy doesn't have a shot. And you're right about the relief pitchers. And I think they're going to have some guys on split contracts who will be in AAA, not going to come up, win any award, but will be better than a lot of the guys that they have in the past when their arms burned out. And so you're right. They're signing a lot of guys, but the quality of guys is better. For example, Pierce Johnson, he's not going to be an all-star, but, he's a very good, serviceable plus relief pitcher. He and Pagan are like almost best friends. I thought that was a hell of a signing. I really do. And I look at their bullpen, and I think it's much deeper than last year. And I loved trading Lux. I was wrong. I thought he was going to be really good. He can't field. He was too heavy, couldn't go left or right, didn't drive any runs, didn't hit any home runs. I'm baffled that Tampa Bay wants him. They're saving $5 million, and they got a guy named Burke, who's actually a pretty blank good relief pitcher at 3.36 last year. It's pretty good. He's not going to be a closer, but He can pitch some games. And so, when you pick up Johnson and Burke late, those are two terrific signings, guys that added to what they didn't have last year. I really think they took a very nice step up. I could be nuts.
Yeah, I agree. No, you're not nuts. I agree on the bullpen wholeheartedly. And the bullpen kind of broke down at the end of last season, and they picked up some very usable parts that's going to help them. But I don't think they have helped themselves much offensively at all, and that's what really needs fixing. And they haven't done anything about it. And you mentioned Gavin Lux. Tampa Bay said that the Cincinnati Reds misused him, that he is strictly a second baseman, and he's going to play strictly second base for Tampa Bay. I kind of found that kind of humorous that they laid it on the Reds that they misused Lux.
I'm a little baffled. Why would a team purposely go out and rip another team? You make a trade, you hope it works out. That's I didn't know they did that. You should keep your mouth shut and figured, okay, he's going to prove here, we'll look good. Why say that?
Yeah, I know. I was baffled when I saw that too, but I had to laugh. I know they're probably right, because the Reds tried him in the outfield and tried him as a designated hitter, tried him everything, and nothing worked. And I don't even think he's a very good second baseman defensively. So for them to say that was kind of humorous.
Not only that, but he's got no range, and he's gotten heavier.
No.
And he's making $5.5 million a year. See, I'll give you another reason why the Reds are better. I saw one of the websites a couple weeks ago, the preseason stuff and that kind of stuff. And I don't remember the writer. It's not important, but they put a lineup together. Everybody does this kind of thing, who might start, who's coming to the bench. Blah, blah, blah. They had Lux, and I screamed, platooning with Sal for DH. And so I think one of the reasons they're going to get better isn't a move, but if they don't give Sal Stewart 500 at-bats, I'm going to rip them like they've never been ripped by anybody in Lexington, Kentucky. Unless all of a sudden the kid's batting 190 and he's got to go to the minor leagues and that kind of stuff. But he needs to get 500 at-bats. I think he's got power. He's lost a bunch of weight. He's a guy who loves the game. Would it surprise me? I mean, could he end up hitting 190 and back to AAA? Sure, it could happen. It happens with young people all the time. If you can send Mickey Mantle down, and they did, and he needed it, and that's okay. It could happen to Stewart, but I think the guy's going to hit 25-plus home runs. And I think that won't make up for some other things that we both think they should have done. But I also think Steer will be healthy with his shoulder, and playing him last year was dumb when he was hurt, and playing Ellie when he was hurt was dumb. So if Steer is healthy, Ellie is healthy, and Stewart turns out to be whatever, those are three large upticks offensively. And I wonder if they're thinking the same thing, and I wonder if it's hope. But look, Steer couldn't even play the outfield. He couldn't throw the ball, and they didn't put him on the DL. That's the Reds being dumb. Ellie had a groin problem and had like one home run for weeks and weeks and weeks. Didn't put him on the DL because he didn't want to be in a DL. I don't care what the player wants. You got to protect the player. And so some of these offensive games might be if they get smarter, which I'm not sure they will.
Yeah, those are ifs and ifs and ifs about staying healthy. But I saw that same thing. I don't know if it's the same guy, but I saw a projected lineup, and amazingly, I thought the same thing. Where's Sal Stewart? I mean, the kid came up last year and showed that he can play in the majors. And like you said, you don't know if it'll last, and it was late in the year, but you got to give the kid a chance, and I think he can be an offensive power for him. So. I just hope that they give him the chance.
I'll give you a fourth reason why I think they're going to be better offensively. You ready?
Ready.
I'm a big McLean fan, and he made a comment which I thought was interesting. I think it came out of Reds Fest, where he said he was told how tough it would be the first year after shoulder surgery, and he's put on like about 12 pounds. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he should be one of the best players on the Reds. I could end up being way, way, way wrong. If he ends up being one of the better players on the Reds, that's another reason why offensively they're going to score more runs. Enough? I don't know. I don't know. But if McLean and Stewart gets 500 bats and he does what you would think, and Steer's shoulder allows him to play every day where he hits 25 home runs and probably knocks in 88 to 92 runs, that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, you put all this together, and it's really not a stretch to think that they might be much better than people think.
Yeah, they could very be if everything like that works out. I agree with you on McLean. 2 years ago, he was the best player on the team. He and Ellie De La Cruz. And your point about playing Ellie when he was hurt, and playing Steer when he was hurt, absolutely absurd. But Ellie wanted to play, and it's the same thing. Ellie wants to play shortstop when he should be in center field. So what he wants, they're giving him. But they totally upset him. He wanted to, they said it was a dream for him to play in the World Baseball Classic, and the Reds said no. So right now, he's not a happy guy.
Why would he agree not to play in the World Baseball Classic? I think, and I'm not trying to be nasty here, but I don't think many American baseball fans understand the importance of the world stage to people in that part of the world, like the Ellie De La Cruz playing in the World Baseball Classic. It's so much more important to people down there than it is in America. Please disagree with me if you disagree. And that's showing your stuff off against what the people think are the best players in the world. And he agreed not to play. And I got to tell you, I couldn't believe he agreed not to play. I couldn't believe his most powerful agent, Boris, agreed to that. Something here doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the guy wanted to really play, but when the Reds said no, he agreed with them. I mean, what were they going to do if he went and played anyway? I know the Reds are afraid that he might re-injure himself, but the kid wanted to play. Like you say, it is very important, especially in the Dominican. It's a lifetime dream for most of them, and Ellie said it was for him. But for them to say no, he's going to have an unhappy player.
I'm shocked, and it was smart what the Reds did. You offer him a contract, being bigger than Votto and that kind of stuff. There wasn't a shot in hell he'd accept it. When he gets in the open market, if he goes back to being Ellie, he will end up getting maybe more than 2 times the amount that the Reds offered. Great. He gets hurt, isn't the same. He blows it. There's no question about it. But in the open market, he's worth so much more than the Reds offered. I don't blame the Reds offering. I thought it was smart. I can't believe that they thought he would take it, but I thought it was the right thing for the Reds to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But we both knew there's no way he's going to accept it. He's already said he wants to play for the Dodgers, and it's very, very interesting that he'll become a free agent after the 2029 season. And Mookie Betts of the Dodgers said he's going to play and retire in 2030. So, they can move Ellie right in there, and Ellie would be happy. By that time, he may be the first billion-dollar player.
And I could see the shortstop moving over because he can play. Mookie Betts can play so many positions. Can I see him at the end of his career being gracious, which he is a gracious guy, and volunteering to move for Ellie? I could, by the way.
Team player, absolutely. Mookie's a team player. He's moved a couple of times already, and for the betterment of the team, he would absolutely do it. And for, as you say, if Ellie gets back to being Ellie and plays that way for the next 4 years, he would be happy to do that for the betterment of the team.
By the way, how many guys have a bowling alley in their home? He does.
With the money these guys are making these days, it would shock me that they had anything in their home.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a couple guys that have an indoor, basketball court, those kinds of, if you got the money.
Yes.
But
indoor swimming pools.
Yeah.
Bowling alleys. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, and their houses are so big. How can you get divorced? You cannot see your wife in a different part of the house. They probably got 2 kitchens.
But they got rooms in their house that they never go into.
That's the amazing part. Like, how many rooms do you need? How many do you need? I mean, it's just baffling. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say it's ego. They got the money. They want to build the biggest house in the area, and so they do it.
And a lot of these guys end up losing money on their house. when they sell it, if they sell it at the wrong time. But millions here, whatever.
Yeah, what's that to them when you're making 300 and 200 million, whatever? I mean, also, how much money do you need to survive? I mean, that's the thing of it is these players are not going to agree to a salary cap, and it's just that's all selfishness. It's would be for the betterment of the game. But, how much money do you need? But they're not going to accept it, and we may not have baseball.
Oh, I can see them going on strike again.
Oh, yes, no doubt about it. Players are not going to give in, and the owners will probably stage a lockout, but them, they'll give up in the long run, and they'll be right back where they are, and, baseball is going to be in big trouble.
I've said this many times. If you're on Facebook and you like baseball, and if you like the Reds in particular, but all the baseball stories that Hal has, and if you don't read his column on Facebook, I can't help you. So you made me laugh drinking coffee. You want to know why?
Why?
You're Felipe Alou, one of the great baseball all time. And Jorge Posada did something similar. It's something in that part of the world that's prevalent. But Hal, it's your story. Literally, I laughed out loud when you wrote this. So please share the story.
Yeah, the first time I met Moises Alou, he was playing for the Montreal Expos, and he had a big game. And I noticed he wasn't wearing batting gloves. So after the game, I was interviewing him, and during the course of the interview, I said, "I noticed you don't wear batting gloves. How do you keep your hands, from hurting or chafing or whatever?" And he said, "My hands remain tough because I urinate on my hands before every game." And that's when I regretted shaking hands with him.
Did you go back and wash your hands about 10 times?
Immediately went up to the press box before I wrote. I went to the restroom and washed my hands.
Oh, breaking news. Cody Bellinger just signed with 5 years, $162.5 million. Opt-outs with the Yankees. Opt-out for the second, third season, and a $20 million signing bonus and a full no-trade clause.
Man, they just keep getting what they want, don't they? I never doubted that he would re-sign with the Yankees, which is why I thought he hadn't signed all along, that the Yankees would eventually come up with what he wanted. Good for them.
So if he has 2 great years and he's only 32, he might be able to get more money. But you know what? When you start hitting 32, teams aren't giving contracts.
No, they want they'll give contracts, but they don't give long term.
Right. So that was breaking news. So
one or 2 years.
That's crazy. So Jorge Posada did it, and he said he would only do it in spring training, and did it all the time in spring training, so his hands would be ready for the season.
Moises did it before every game.
Do you know a lot of players from the Dominican in that part of the world that do it? I saw an interview with Jorge talking about it, and he said, "Yeah, it's pretty common where he comes from," and he said, "And it works. It works." So, just because I think something is different, and you might go, okay, that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. There's all kinds of things that you spent your life doing this, things they do in the Dominican Republic that are way ahead of what is done in America baseball-wise, and it gets integrated into the system. So is this another case where the people down in the Dominican Republic and down there are smarter than American baseball people?
I don't know if they're smarter, but they sure do things differently. I remember Jose Rijo, when he pitched for the Reds, would never go into the training room, but he would rub snake oil on his shoulder. That's how he said he kept his shoulder in shape. He would rub snake oil on it before he pitched and after he pitched. He had a bottle with a snake in the bottom of it.
I didn't know that. Do you think it helped him? At least
he stayed healthy. Yeah, he hardly ever missed a turn.
That's true. He was a workhorse.
He was.
I listened to Satchel Paige's book. There's a bunch of them, but this was supposed to be the best one. I'm sorry, I can't remember the author. Knowing you, you probably already read it anyway. And there was a point in his career, which I didn't know, that he was about done with his arm. And he found a trainer that would rub liniment and something else that they basically wouldn't say. And I kind of thought he didn't know what it was, some sort of concoction on his shoulder, and he could barely raise his arm. And then a few months later, he's throwing as hard as he did before. And he said it was what was in the concoction. He said it had some very strange things in it.
Yeah, I remember. I read that too. Yeah, that's Satchel being Satchel. But, well, what works?
Well, okay, Satchel being Satchel, that's the next point. He was known for making things up. So you have no idea if it's legitimate or not.
Right, exactly. But they're always funny stories.
Yes. Oh, can you imagine barnstorming with him?
Oh, well, what a treat that would be.
Oh.
I would like to have covered him when he pitched for the Cleveland Indians.
At the end,
it's been a little tough since I was only 8 years old, but
I'm visualizing
I
you.
Remember it.
8 years old with a cigar in his mouth and a pen book going in to talk to Satchel.
Well, I've got a cigar in my hand right now and a cup of Starbucks coffee on my desk, and there's a clock on my desk that tells me it is 23 days, 18 hours, and 59 minutes until pitchers and catchers report.
Wow!
But who's counting?
Wow! You haven't gone to spring training in how many years?
Since 2014 or 15.
Okay.
I go once in a while for a week or so, but I don't go the 6 weeks anymore.
Okay. So are you going to go to Florida?
I go to Arizona where the Reds and the Guardians train.
That's what I would think.
Goodyear.
You're looking forward to it like crazy. I've never done it, and it's a bad timing to take a bunch of time off for the show, especially during the basketball season. But I've always wanted to go to spring training and hop around and spend 5 days going to maybe 4 or 5 games and spend 5 days on the beach, that kind of thing, and do it. I've never done it. But
man, you have to. That's the highlight of the year. It was always a highlight of the year for me. 6 weeks in spring training. The players are all so happy and cooperative because nothing means their batting averages don't go up or down that mean anything, and they're just having a good time. And when the Reds trained in Sarasota, I loved it. I stayed on Siesta Key. I had a hotel on the beach. I would walk out the front door, make a right turn, and I was on the white sand of Siesta Key. And it was all downhill after that, Alan.
Oh, that sounds spectacular. It really
It was spectacular.
I think I've missed something by not doing that. And, the leaves are turning colors with me too. And there's only so many more years you can do that kind of thing. And it's been in my head. Matter of fact, it was one of my goals when I retired from TV to do it. And I still haven't done it. Now I'm doing the show. It really doesn't fit, but I'm going to try.
You could do your show from spring training.
Oh yeah. And they would be fine with it. This thing is portable. So, you could, but you know what, to do the show, I spent so much time prepping that it really wouldn't be that much of a vacation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You just don't sit down and talk for 2 hours, and I'm anal about it. I prepped way too much. It's just, and I can't change, and I'm not bragging, whatever. It's actually a deficit and a positive at the same time.
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead. Well, for me, it was easy because you go out early in the morning, you get a story, you watch the game, and it's over by 4 o'clock. Write a story, you're done by 5, and you have most of the games are played during the day, and then you have the evening to yourself. And it was a great. Somebody had to do it, and I did it.
Wow, that sounds like heavenly. You could still make the dog track, still make the beach. You knew where the best restaurants were.
Yep, make the beach or go to the dog track with Lou Piniella or Jack McKeon and just have a good time. Get some good stories that way, too.
I bet. So what are the odds that the Reds make the playoffs this year?
I'm saying 50-50.
Me too.
I think they do have a shot because of the division. although Pittsburgh is making a run for it. They've made some good signings. I think Milwaukee will be down. St. Louis is going to be terrible this year. So the Cubs are going to be the best in the division by far. But if everything goes right, everything stays healthy with the Reds. The rotation stays healthy. They find some offense somewhere. Yeah, I say 50-50.
They got a shot at second place.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Absolutely.
You know what my problem with Milwaukee is before we say goodbye? Milwaukee always seems to find young players and always seems
exactly
better than you think. To me, Milwaukee's the Tampa Bay of the National League in their own way.
You got that exactly right. And they're the smallest market in baseball. So, the Reds keep using that excuse. It's no excuse. Milwaukee finds a way to do it. Tampa Bay finds a way to do it. I mean, they don't win the World Series, but they make the playoffs. At least they do that much.
God bless you, Hal. It's just lovely hearing your voice. Everybody read his column on Facebook. Always appreciate your time. I just love talking to you. Hopefully we'll do it a little more often now that baseball is coming back. Hal, you're a national treasure, dude.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on your show. I enjoy it immensely.
Thanks, Hal. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Thanks. How perfect is this? He's got a stogie. He's a stogie guy and a Starbucks, right, on his desk and with a countdown. Jimmy, he's got a countdown. I never thought about it, but if anybody I've ever met my whole life, he'd be the one person to have a countdown on his desk as to when the pitchers and catchers report. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so Hal McCoy.
It's a day that deserves a countdown, too. For people that are real baseball fans, it's just something about that day. There's no real baseball. It's not a significant day as far as that, but it's the start of a great part of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Hal. I always thought Bellinger would sign because I think he could have signed other places. And I don't know this, but I wonder if it'll come out that he could have gotten more money somewhere else. Would not surprise me. Don't know that. But with two opt-out years, an opt-out year in the second and third year on a 5-year contract, that is interesting. And the Yankees desperately needed him. There's no question they desperately needed him. And I don't know, can you live on $162 million? Here's the other thing. He was great last year. His defense was spectacular on top of it, but he's had some bad years in the last 5 years too, Jimmy. That's the other part everybody forgets. He's a great guy. He's a great player. But if the 5 years coming up are like the last 5 years, there's some holes in there. And if you have holes, the media will chomp on you. They just will. Thank you, Hal McCoy. Thank you. What a treat. Jim Master coming up next. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Blue Lotus Health Acupuncture. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, acupuncture. Ramon is a special man. He's helped me tremendously on Versailles Road. Please use my name. Actually saw him twice this week because of some issues I'm having. And he spotted part of the issue like immediately. Seriously. It's not a doctor, but it's amazing what he can spot and why and where it came from. I trust him. He's a friend. He's tons smarter than me. That's probably not complimentary enough, but he is tons smarter than me. Check him out. Use my name, Ramon Carriega, Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Jim Master coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quant.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Jimmy, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I thought we had an issue. Did you play Aberdeen and Pope?
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't hear that either.
Oh. Weird.
Yeah. Let me apologize publicly to Jim Master. This is a new one. I've never done this before. I teased Jim. I thought Jim was on the show. I put him on my list, and I forgot to put a question mark. And I did not contact Jim, so I apologize. I've already sent a text apologizing to him. Jimmy, I've made plenty of mistakes. This is a new one even for me, isn't it?
It is, especially with 2.5 years and multiple guests every single day. I think you get one.
Okay. Actually, we're in the fourth.
3.5. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Not quite 3.5. Ooh, it's cool. Ooh. So anyway, that was a good comment that I couldn't hear, but I had heard it when it came out about Aberdeen doing a great job. Now, look, I don't expect him to keep on getting 17 or 18 points in the second half all the time. Obviously, that is not going to happen. But I think we're seeing the blossoming of a wonderful player, a guy who's going to be a wonderful point guard. And I'm not suggesting he's going to play point guard in the NBA, but I think he can be a leader with this team. I really like a couple games ago how Pope brought him out to talk to the media, and I really like how he handled himself. I mean, it's really good. And I think one of the things that's happened with Pope happens to a lot of teams. You know, certain teams get better. There are some people, for example, North Carolina, saying they've gotten worse. Okay? Certain teams get better. Mentioned in the monologue, St. John's has gotten much better. They really have. And I think we're looking at Kentucky getting much better. And so I think it's about after their first win in this 3-game stretch, and I came out and said there's hope for Pope. And I really believe it. I really believe it. And you know, one of the things he said after the last game, something about the fact that he and the players have taken a lot of garbage and stuff like that. So it's nice to see how they've bounced back. Okay. And I remember when he said it was kind of like, he's a little upset. But then by the other hand, he has said a number of times, look, when we don't play well, fans are upset. He gets at the criticism. He probably doesn't like the players get criticized and stuff like that, but that's part of playing here. It really is. And I'm not jumping on or off a bandwagon. If you play well, you play well. If you don't play well, you don't play well. I mean, it's just a little different. Let's go to clip number 3. And Pope was asked about Texas. And Sean Miller's the defensive coach, but offensively, they've been very good. And this is not a cupcake at all. This is Pope talking about playing Texas tonight at 7 p.m.
This Texas team they are potent offensively. My goodness, they just have weapons everywhere. They're one of the top teams in the country at getting to the free throw line. They have the number 1 player in the country in getting to the free throw line, free throw rate. They're one of the top teams in the country on the offensive glass. They can hurt you in isolation. They hurt you off handoffs and off screens. They can hurt you in transition, and they do it from all 5 spots. Got some guys coming off the bench that really have an impact. They can really, really shoot it. They're a good team, and the great thing is I've known Coach for a long time, and he's a defensive-minded guy, and so that side of the ball is going to be really strong. Good team. Anybody that in back-to-back games goes on the road, beats Alabama, and then beats Vandy at home is a good team. And so we'll have all the challenge we can possibly stand coming to us, and we can't wait to get to it. So.
Speaking of that, last year, Tremont Mark was a big factor in that game for them. He had 26 points. He's obviously back. What's it going to take to slow him down this year?
He's a tough guard. He's shooting 52% from mid-range, right? And so he's a 1.04 points per possession. If you subtract turnovers, he's a 1.04, which is hard. Normally defensive or schemed to manage that. He's so good, and he's a big shot maker, physically strong, maybe their best defensive player.
And if you look at the numbers, when it comes to Texas, they're a top 20 team. If you like KenPom, number 17, okay, and scoring 86 points a game. And I find this interesting. Better than 1 out of every 3 years that Sean Miller's been a head coach, wherever he's been, whether it's Xavier twice, or Arizona, now starting at Texas. In 21 years, he's won 8 conference titles. I think that's very, very impressive. He had some great teams in Arizona and took a bunch of crap, deservedly so, because there were times many thought that he had the best team and they did not do well in the NCAA tournament. Took a lot of heat with that. I mean, a lot of heat. And I think eventually it became deserved. And I think it added pressure to him and to Arizona at the time because he won a ton of games there, won an absolute tons of games. Now, there's something called flat rate versus shot taken. And I don't remember that term, Jimmy, when I was a kid growing up. So flat rate versus shot taken, they're number 1 in the country. That means that for the percentage of shots they take, they are number 1 in the country with going to the free throw line. And there's a little concern about how the game will be called tonight. And they are very good in putting themselves on the free throw line. And you wonder if you have to be a little concerned about Kentucky getting in some foul trouble. It's just, a thought out there when you look at the numbers. Conversely, look what Kentucky's been doing in the last 6 games. They're scoring like 49 points a game in the second half. That's crazy. That's just crazy. And so, like I keep on saying, there's hope for Pope, and this team is getting better. And I don't know about the ceiling, but it's possible we haven't seen a ceiling for them. I mean, seriously. Now, I'm going to switch for a second away from the Kentucky game because not only does this story have incredible implications for the future of basketball, but the problem is when you talk about this, I have no idea where it's going. I mean, none. Nobody knows. I remember the name, never followed his career. There was no reason to follow his career. So, Charles Bediako, and Jimmy, am I pronouncing the name right? Anyway, he's 23 years old. Bediako. I do remember him in Alabama. He was, Jim is on the phone. Okay. Hey, Jim, this is what we're going to do. This is my mess up. Let's call Jim.
Okay.
And can you do that, or we need to take a break?
We'll take a quick break.
Let's take a quick break. I'll apologize again to him. And I want to ask Jim about this story, too, about how this guy can actually play college basketball game. Jim Master, coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell.
To AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if auto owners insurance makes sense for you.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Jim Master, I've already apologized to you on the show, but I got to tell you my screw up. Now, I've been doing this for not quite 3.5 years. This is a new screw up for me. So I have a very simple system. And when you try to book the show ahead, that kind of stuff, it's all good. And in my mind, I put a question mark when I haven't texted somebody, see if they're available and they want to do the show. It's a pretty simple system. And I forgot to put the question mark next to your name. So I promoted you today. I thought you were doing the show today. And then when I looked at the text message going, Cutler, you just screwed up. You never asked Jim. So you coming on a dime, thank you. And I apologize for promoting you. Oh, I'd love to blame Jimmy. I can't blame Jimmy for nothing. This is 100% on me. So sorry.
Oh, no problems. I'm just glad to be on, Alan. I've been under the weather too for several days, but I feel good the last couple days.
Oh, good. The crud that's going around?
Yeah. I've had sinus infection. It lasted for 4, 5, 7, 8 days, and massive congestion. Just go with me there. Just crazy. So
You
I'm back.
Yeah, you sound pretty good. And thank you for on a dime. I'll join. So I've been saying there's hope for Pope, and I started after the first comeback. Look, you can't be down 12, 18, and 17, 3 games in a row at the half, and this can't continue. It just can't continue. But I wonder, and here's the analogy I made in the monologue. I'm not comparing Pope to Patino as a coach, but I am comparing the analogy. I watched St. John's last night. I watch them a lot. They are totally different from when they played Kentucky. They're just totally. He's revamped them, and they're playing together, and they're tougher, and they're stronger. And when St. John's played Kentucky, there's no way in high, you know what, I could have predicted. Matter of fact, my buddy Dick Hoops and I both thought that they would struggle in the Big East, and they're now 7-1. He's totally changed them. Well, give Mark Pope some credit. These kids are coming together. And they're playing much better. They have to realize that a basketball game is 40 minutes, not 20 minutes. That's sarcasm, but I'm not going to resist with that. You know how I am. But I think they're getting much better, and I think Aberdeen is part of it. And I see hope for this team.
Well, of course we see hope, and just as Coach Pope and the coaches for the most part, and the players, but they've been scrutinized, rightfully so. But again, I'm not going to keep going through this, but they are missing a few players that they thought they'd have. But for them to come back on the road, which is on the road for what's been going on, crazy. But it also should prove to all those young men, pro athletes, because they get paid, that they can do this. That I think they're figuring it out. Aberdeen I'm hoping, has really figured it out, that maybe he can run the point quite a bit. Maybe he can still score off the point. So they got to be figuring something out. Obviously, they played tremendous in the second half. Allen, they got 2 home games. Again, they got a chance to get really right the ship and see if they can. I love the lineup changes. He's trying everything, the coaching staff. So, hey, I applaud the young men to come back and have some heart to them.
Yeah, and you know what? He's right. They are showing toughness. You come back 12, 18, and 17.
No doubt.
Foreign lands, you're tough, and we have not given them enough credit for that. And Pope is right when it comes to that. I mean, there's so many ways this thing could slip away. And I really thought at the end of the Tennessee game, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, this is not, I hate Rocky Top or anything like that. Everybody chokes. That's just my theory. Everybody chokes. It just, in sport, everybody chokes. Great players choke. It just happens. I thought they got to Tennessee so much. I thought that they choked, and I think LSU choked a little bit too. And I think what happened is that because of Kentucky playing well, they actually implanted that in the cranium of their minds of the other players. That to me is a powerful thing.
Well, it is, and our kids never quit. Think about it. They keep coming. So I'm sure they've learned a ton about themselves, each individual player, Coach Pope, his staff. So I just think not quitting and keep going at it, and in pressure situations down at the end of the game, both those games, as you know, Alan, could have gone either way, even when we came back like we did. I thought we actually got a couple calls against us maybe on the road there, even in the last few minutes of some of those games. So, and the kids still fought through it. So a lot of encouragement. Hey, Alan, come on. Winning. I always laugh. My son's teams, when you win, seems like a whole lot of people play well. And if you lose, seems like a whole lot of people didn't play well. Whether you lose by 2 or 20, that's the way I feel. I saw a lot of goodness in these last 2 wins. So let's hope they can keep it going, and should keep it going.
Texas is an interesting team. They're very good offensively. They've beaten Alabama and Vandy, and there have been some other games where they've played terrible. It seems to be a common theme in the last couple of years that most coaches, I wonder if they would say that their biggest issue with their team is consistency. I don't think that's anything new, but you seem to hear it more out of coaches and stuff like that. Texas can, I think, play with anybody, but they can also stink up the joint against anybody. I have no idea which team is going to show up tonight. I just don't. But I don't think this is because you're playing at Rupp such an easy game. I just don't.
Well, I agree. I mean, we're playing real teams. I mean, the SEC conference in basketball has improved mightily over the years. So these aren't chump teams we're playing. But again, I got a feeling they're going to start really bonding together even more after these 2 wins. I would be surprised, but I've been surprised this year, Alan. I would be surprised if Kentucky doesn't play well for the whole game instead of just for one half. I'd be surprised. I think they might have found some.
They're doing. Actually, I thought they played better in the first half against Tennessee than they played in the two previous games. It wasn't good enough.
Agreed.
Better, and sometimes you can be down by 17, yet you can see some signs. And I don't think I was stretching. Let me throw one thing at you. We got about a minute and a half. Dan Issel told the ESPN in Louisville that he hopes that Pope would narrow the rotation down to 8 players, that they're well-conditioned athletes. The game is 40 minutes long, and if you don't have guys that can play 17 minutes a half, you need to talk to your conditioning people. Dan is no filter, as you know. And what Pope has been doing, I want to make this quick because I want you to answer longer. What Pope is doing down the stretch, he's keeping with the same guys. He's doing this more often, and it's working out. What do you think about what Dan said?
No, I kind of agree with Dan said, but I think that's what Mark Pope and his staff have been trying to figure out for the last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. I don't think he knew who the 6 or 7 or 8 were going to be. And, hey, come on, Alan. I don't want to mention any names. He's not playing a few kids much anymore.
Yep.
So, and if you don't play defense, kind of sounds like my son's team. If you don't play defense, probably not going to play at all. And if you can't stay with somebody, probably not going to play at all. So I think it's getting there. I do think it's getting there. I think what you said. I think the last few minutes of these tough games, I think you're seeing who the dogs are, who the ones he's going to. Can't say enough about Aberdeen the last 2 games. Just so you know, Alan, can't say enough. He is totally around.
Yeah, I'm sorry for stepping on it, Jim. I've been bragging on him like crazy. Crazy. And I have a feeling Chandler's going to be in the game in the last 6 minutes. I just have a feeling he'll be in the game in the last 6 minutes.
He seems to hit big shots too, doesn't he, Alan? I mean, he can hit some and not scared to take them. That's number one, by the way.
Yeah.
Not scared to take the shot, and he knocks a few down. So I'm with you on that.
And he also had the 2 assists that were the winning buckets, and almost had a third one when he made that unbelievable pass to Owe. He missed the layup here at Rupp. So he's just.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on a dime. Again, I apologize to you. I have 2 things for you. 1, get some chicken soup. And 2, thank you, Jim. I appreciate you.
Yeah, winning, Allen, turns things around. 2 wins, they could turn it around bigger time tonight. I'm just telling you, this winning can get contagious.
That would be a beautiful thing. Hey, Jim, thank you. Feel better, dude. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thanks. All righty.
That was crazy. Well, at least I can honestly say it's the first time I've made that mistake. And you know what's interesting? I'm surprised I haven't made that mistake before.
That's what I was saying. With as many people as you have on every single week, the fact that it's only happened this one time is pretty impressive.
And by the way, I'm not chilling. If I made this mistake before, I would remember because I was beating myself up a little bit. And then I'm going, I'm 73. Jim laughed it off. And then he says, hey, I'll join you now. Okay. Ooh, I'm out. Brad Taylor coming up next. Matthew and Jimmy at 10 tomorrow. I will be back in noon. Enjoy the game. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Jim Master. Thank you, Hal McCoy. Thank you to a cast of thousands. And okay, thank you, Sean Woods.